The topic today that I just try to gain your attraction that is about education 3.0. Okay, so it's 3.0 meaning that it should have 1.0 and 2.0, right? But I will not tell you now how different is. We will discuss at the end. Okay, but for 3.0, we're talking about is going to be the ICT tools for the 21st century learners. Okay, and the two cases that we're going to share for this afternoon session is going to be based on the framework of my two research studies that I use, with my student in my class. And the two research studies aim to solve the existing concern about the change of the learners today, which we call 21st century learners. And also another concern is to try to integrate the Thai qualification framework for higher education into our teaching and learning. The Thai qualification framework, the TQF, also in Thai is more called, everyone very familiar with it, right? When you hear it, I can see your face like, I just done like number 3, finish, and 5, right? Who's working on number 2? I am, the curriculum one. Okay. Anyway, so as you all know that at Chulalongkorn University, we are research university. So just, whatever we want to implement in our classes, our university want us to do is with the research-based kind of thing. So everything, whatever problem we want to solve, we will come up with, the research-based process. And then we try to solve such problems. So the two cases I'm going to share with you this afternoon. The first one, it would be about the development of the pedagogical branded e-learning model. And I also use the cognitive tools in that branded learning and based upon constructivist approach in order to enhance the knowledge construction for learner in higher education. That is the first case. Meaning that this one, I just, want to come up with the model of branded learning. But only the branded learning itself will not enhance learners' achievement or learners' knowledge construction. So I put some pedagogy, the very famous one, and the one that other experts or other educators prove that this work for the online environment. I integrated into that branded learning model. And that is not enough in order for learners to create their knowledge. So I also add the cognitive tools into that model as well. And then this afternoon you will have chance to try to use some of the tools I use in my classes. Okay. The second project I did with my another colleagues, and this project got granted from the National Research Council of Thailand, and this one will be about we want to create the e-learning system in order to enhance the cognitive skills. As you all know, that cognitive skill is one among the 5 domains of TQF, the third one. So we try to we use our expertise in developing the e-learning system in order to enhance the cognitive skill for learners in higher education. Okay? And we have a review of set of tools that can enhance learners' cognitive skills. Okay? So these are two cases that I'm going to share with you this afternoon. Okay? So the background of the study, the two studies that I did, is from the background that as we all know that, as the instructor, we have to know our learners, right? And our learners, when compared to us, we have the gap, right? Some may be small gap, but some is a big gap. This evolution of technology will definitely can tell you the gap between you and your students. Okay, let me ask you this: who are in this generation of using? See, even before that, right? Okay, beyond. Okay, beyond the screen generation. Okay. Okay. Some of you have experience using the 8-inch one, right? Okay. What about 5-inch? Okay, some. Okay. What about 3.5? Most of you, right? I know. Okay. CD, DVD, USB, SD card, and currently, starting in 2011, we start using the cloud services, right? So you can see like these are the gap. Our students nowadays, if you're teaching like, especially like in computer lab, you will see that they come with nothing because they said like everything on the cloud, right? My student always say like, teacher, give me 10 minutes. I prepare everything for you. Anything like whatever you require me, I can download it from Dropbox or Google Drive or just like anything. So they are so much different from us, right? You thinking about that time when we start using our floppy disk. Do you remember the capacity of that? Still remember? Very small, tiny one, right? 1.44 megabyte, thank you. Yeah, that's small. Nowadays, even one photo we upload on the Facebook is like maybe 2 or 3 megabytes, right? So those are the different. Nowadays, they have like the big storage, and even not with them is on the cloud, right? You remember the time when you got the first USB drive? Like that time, everyone hang around, like, and feel so cool that, oh, I got one USB drive, and nowadays you can get it just a few hundred baht, right? So these are the difference between you as a teacher and your learners. Nowadays they just, like feel that, okay, everything they store it on cloud. If you want them to submit their work, they will ask you like, yeah, can you give me your email, and then I share the work to you, right? If you bring USB drive and ask them to save the file to you, they will feel like, this is what? For what? No, teacher, like just, like give me your email, right? So these are the different that, you found. And this is the background of the study that I feel that, yeah, we have a big gap. So try to see like the learner's characteristic, and then we can try to adapt and adjust and make the what we call like negotiation, like like in between, like find a solution that both are happy. Okay. This is what maybe you've seen that before, right? The clip about the future of the technology, but let's see this one. So some of other characteristics I found based on the background of the study. The characteristic of like learners nowadays, you feel that of course they use Facebook every day, right? Okay. For some who use Facebook in your class, you have post something to the group, right? And did your student click like on that assignment, the one that you post up there? Did they? Yeah. You think they really like that? Okay. Right. It's maybe just, okay, I acknowledge that, right? But no, at the first time, when student click like, I thought like, oh, they love my assignment. But actually, like when the time go by, I feel that, yeah, they just like, but they still don't do the homework, right? Okay. So that is the characteristic that, like we sometimes even can get in touch with them faster through the use of social media than, like seeing them or, get in touch by other modes of communications. Okay. So meaning they are so connected. They are, like, of course, like they check in, even us, right? Check in wherever we go, and then take a photo of whatever we eat, right? Still, have you? Okay. I just heard from the radio yesterday. They're talking about Harvard. They came up with one application that like in the next future, when you post the photo of food and then you will smell it. They have like the 200,000 kind of smell. You heard that, right? And then like, so they said like, yeah, like later on whenever you post the food photo, and then the smell also go with that the photo as well. So you can see that the technology, like been emerging every day, and the latest another trend, selfie, right? Even the president did selfie. So did you selfie today? Not yet. Yes, you did, right? Okay. Another interesting I found with the 21st century's learners' characteristic is their learning resources. Okay, you still remember back when the time you still as a learners in higher education, and you did your thesis or dissertation. We have to walk to the library, look for books, borrow, and then read it and then bring it back, right? Do you think nowadays students still go to library? Hardly, right? I mean, some, but not that much. And you will see that their learning resources been changed from that very valuable books become Google, Wiki, right? Many people call like Agu and Pawi, right? They just love Agu and Pawi more than us. And some even, just as easy as post the question on Facebook, right? And then, eventually someone will come and answer that question for you, okay? And you can see that lately people start to search things on YouTube. Did you? They said like on YouTube have everything, any answer for you. So for example, if you just type like how to blah blah blah, and then just anything, okay. One of my friends just asked me not long ago about, because she have a plan to go to Japan, and she heard a lot of story about the toilet in Japan that is so complicated, like so many buttons. I afraid I don't know how to use it. And then I told her try to search on YouTube about how to use it, and she found it. She said, yeah, I found it, and I can figure it out easily. Like they have even step by steps. Okay, same thing with our students. Okay, I teach many computer programs. Okay, and my student always say that, yeah, you just teach what I found on YouTube. YouTube have the same clip too. Yeah, whatever Adobe Captivate, Adobe Flash, Photoshop, anything. Just type how to, and then you will find things up there. Okay. And the new technology, if you can see that the new technology, you will feel that nowadays when you search on YouTube, they will have the recommendation, and they very smart. They kind of know what you like to see, and then they select what you like to see for you. Even the advertisement on Facebook, right? They have each person will have different advertisements based on your interest. They're very smart. They know what you are interested in. Okay? For example, this this is my home computer. So my husband, he's always look on the clip about playing golf. So they have the list of suggestion about golf, and for me, I just look at soap opera at night. So they have suggestion for me okay, don't forget to see this one, อย่าลืมฉัน, right, the name. So yeah, this is the advancements of the technology. And have you ever tried type in your name on YouTube? You may feel surprised to see your own clip up there. It just as that's easy. Just type your name and boom, that's you. And by the way, that's me. Before married. So after married, nothing to worry about, right? So just so yeah, but yeah. Please try, and you will see a lot of your clips up there. Okay. Another characteristic that we have to accept is that we call nowadays our learners are CP kids. Okay, they said they are cut and paste, because what ever they want, the information up there, they can find the answer for you. Okay. In this clip, they said like my term paper almost done. I update my software, defragment my hard disk, bookmark online dictionary, install new ink cartridge, and then now I need is word and topic. Because they just can't find anything. Whatever you assign them, they can find it. I mean, online. So you think like this concern is whose problem? Like teacher problem or the student one? Do you think like as an instructor, the way you assign the homework, it should be something that student can find on the internet? Is there any way that you can assign something that they cannot find on the internet? No way. No hope at all, no. There is. Actually, they said that many educators, we have discussed about this concern. And they said about, you have to maybe come up with a very special situation. And then, whatever they find on the internet, they can use as an information. And then they have to maybe analyze, criticize, and like whatever, change the form of that information into the new things. That's why like education 3.0, they also concerned with the pedagogy about project-based learning, problem-based learning, where you assign them to do the project to solve the problem. Those they cannot find exactly the solution on the internet, but they have to change the form of information into something else that like, and then they can submit it to you, and that is more on like that will help them to create the higher level of thinking, which is the critical thinking, analyzing, and also the creating, the creation. Okay. They also talk about, nowadays a lot of applications, right? They said like parents in the future may not need to prepare books for the learners, but what you have to prepare is, to prepare the applications for them, like, so things been changed, with the technology. For the girls, ladies, have you used like the application 360, like camera 360? Have you? Okay. It's just, this morning we have the commencement, like at the university, and, everyone be sure that, we take the photo with this application because everyone will always look good, right? With this application. Okay. Those are, the background of our learners. Now, the output for our learners, one of the output that we expect from our learner is, first, in higher education, we want them to be the creator, right? The highest level of Bloom cognitive domain is the creating. So we want everyone to be creator. And for education 3.0, they want something beyond that. They said that just creator is not enough. What we expect in higher education, we expect everyone to be innovator. So it even beyond the creator. Okay? And people start to talk about, how can we build our learners in order to be, like creator and innovator. You can see a lot of innovation, like a very interesting one, like the campaign from Coke. Okay, how can we teach our learners to be as smart as like the founder of Facebook? Or like if you ask like students or learners nowadays like what they want to be, you may hear the answer like very strange one. The first time I heard this word, I was, what is that? They said like dream job for 21st century is drone and game creator. Have you heard about drone? Like the small robot to deliver like, things, like Amazon announced it last year, like, to carry things and, drop in front of your house. Okay? So this is what, like our learners, they love to become. And this is what we have to give provide them enough experience, knowledge, and skill in order to be creator and innovator. Okay. That's why my first research and my first experience that I'm going to share with you is how can we, with the technology, will whatever mode of teaching, you may teaching in blended learning or just the web enhanced, the technology enhanced course, how technology can help enhance the learner become the creators. Okay, this is about the first research study. The second one that we're going to talk about is that the second study that I'm going to share with you is that because of these all inputs of 21st century learners, what would be the process in order to help learners enhance one of the among the 5 domains of Thai TQF or the Thai Qualification Framework for Higher Education? There are 5 of them in one research or just one semester that I give experience to the learners. I may not can do all, but I select one as the cognitive skills because I feel that this one they can further develop in order to become the innovator. So this cognitive skill will be the dependent variables in the research study, and then I find a way how can we build or build that cognitive skill by using the technology. Okay, so education 3.0. In addition to the use of technology, another concern would be like they're talking about the concern about the learning need to be active. Okay, how learning can be active. Okay. There are the classic concept in education. If you may heard it before about Edgar Dell. Have you? Okay. Edgar Dell talking about the cone of learning experience, and he talking about whatever knowledge or information you give it to people, after 2 weeks, this is what will remain in the learners. So if, for example, today I didn't show up and I give the information for you all to read, after 2 weeks you may remember my information only 10%, maybe only the topic, right? If you hear, you will remember after 2 weeks it's going to be 20%, 30% if you see, and up to 50% if you see and you hear. So up to 50% of what you see and you hear, you are still passive learning. Thinking about the lecture hall where the professor sit in front of the class and give the lecture, that type of thing. So learner will see and hear, see the professor and hear the lecture. So only half of the information that will stay with them in the next 2 weeks. Thinking about if you just ask them to say and write or do something, it's going to be 70 or 90%. It will retain with the students. Meaning that people start to talking about, if you just, ask them to say something or do some activity, up to 70% and 90% it will retain in them. So educators start to compare, like if you have a very famous professor, but he prefer to just give the lecture to the learners. If you're very smart and very famous one, still student will remember only 50% because they just hear and see. Comparing with the new the young professor who have very little experience. Even though I have little experience, but I ask my student to say and write or do something, it's 70 or 90% that we retain with the students. So many educators now believe that sometimes you may not need to be very famous or very experienced teachers, but you can teach good and teach in effective way by asking students to do some activities, become active learning, and then the knowledge will stay with them. Okay. If you can see, this is another very classic concept in education. According to this Edgar Dell, and this the cognitive domain by Bloom's. You can compare, right? Educator love triangle. no, no, just kidding. But it just come up like two slides. So this is the Bloom taxonomy, the Bloom cognitive domain. That this is the old version and this is a newer version. Bloom talking about like earlier we believe that the highest level that we expect from our learners is the evaluation. But nowadays, for the new version, what we expect from our learners is creating. That's why I told you earlier that like nowadays we have to be sure that our student will later become the creator, because the highest level is creating one. Unlike the earlier version, which is what we want them just they be able to analyze, synthesize, and evaluate evaluation. But nowadays we want them to analyzing, evaluating, and creating. Okay, and we call like lower level and higher level one. The study I did is like I integrated the tools like in order to be sure that learners have created their lower level cognitive domain as well as the highest level one. Okay. And the method that I use blended learning, what I mentioned earlier, with the concept very similar to the flipped classroom concept, which is like, of course, when you hear the word about blended learning, there are always two good things blend together, right? Okay, or hybrid learning, like hybrid car, two good things like gas and the gas and what the natural the power. Oh, okay. Electrical power together, right? So in this case, of course, we use like the good proportion of online and face-to-face one together, integrate together. So with the belief that like for the lecture, learners can learn anywhere. They don't have to come to class to listen to the lecture, but rather they can go online and listen to the same lecture. Some instructor even said like to give the lecture online is even better, because we will not talk much, right? Because we are videotape, so we just try to talk only the concept. Very short, brief, but contents one. Very good idea one. But if you give the lecture in front of the class, most of the time we talk something else not related to the content, right? So they said like, yeah, it's even better sometimes when you ask your learners to do the online lecture one, and then we use the very meaningful time in the class, very valuable time to do the project that earlier we assigned them to do outside. No advice at all. But if they come to the class, we can give advice to them, okay? That the hybrid learning and flipped classroom, they said this is more meaningful for learners, okay? So we flip the way that the lecture outside the class, and then use the class time to do the meaningful activities. For example, brainstorming one, group project, problem-solving activities, and then learner will become more critical thinker, problem solver, analyzer. No, we don't have that word, right? Okay. Yeah, but that type of things. So the idea of the project, the first case that I gave it to you is like based on like what I mentioned earlier, the concept of different characteristics, the chain of learners, 21st century learners, and then the treatment that I use is the blended learning along with the proper pedagogy in order to develop learners' knowledge creation. Okay, so after I did that study, the research study, I found that the three most teaching method we found that proved to be effective in online learning environment are the collaborative discussion-based learning. Second would be the collaborative project-based learning, and the third would be collaborative problem-based learning. So I integrate these three pedagogy into my blended learning along with the cognitive tools in each module. Okay, So in this case, because at Chulalongkorn University we use the Blackboard learning management system, so I have add one menu here as a cognitive tools, and then I have the instruction for them and to use in each module activities. Okay. Now the result of this research I will not tell you directly, but I would like you to join this link and guess and answer the 5 questions there, and then it will conclude this research result. So if you can get online and go to this link, there are 5 or 6 questions. Yeah.